The main characters, his convention is kind of like the convention the main character from Heaven's Official Blessing and his ex-servant has, which is meaning he shouldn't love or lust for someone, but he realizes he has feelings for the male lead. He wants the male lead, but he's trying to push those feelings away because, again, it is destroying his convention. But he also questions, does he have feelings for the male lead, or is it everything he's been through and the male lead's been through, and he knows what the male lead's been through, that is causing him conflictions with his convention? Like, he's having problems and issues with this, but also it's pretty obviously he does have feelings for the male lead. So in one of the towns that they're passing by, the male lead and the main character, they come across the painter who painted the sordid paintings of the male lead and, passed them around. And the male lead wants to get rid of this dude, but the main character, he's one step ahead of the male lead. And he gets rid of this guy. And the male lead, he discovers this, which leads them to having a conversation where the main character's like, hey, you don't have to get your hands dirty. I know you've been getting your hands dirty, getting revenge for yourself, but you don't have to do that. I'll get rid of everyone for you. Like, he's giving a whole confession, a whole speech to the male lead, and he's also under the influence of alcohol. And the male lead's like, hey, you don't have to get your hands dirty for me. You also don't have to go around getting revenge on everyone who has harmed me, because there are a ton of people who are even more powerful and more high in advance than you are in status and in convention. Like, you're just going to bring ruin to yourself and harm to yourself if you attempt to do this. Also, you're just going to make hills and mountains of bodies if you go after everyone who's had their dirty, vile ways with me. Like, he doesn't want to bring this onto the main character, and the main character's like, no, I want this. But also the male lead doesn't want constant revenge. If he comes across this person, he will get his revenge, but he's not going to go out there and search for everyone that has harmed him and get rid of them. No, if he comes across them, he'll get rid of them. But he just wants to let it be, let it go, just out of sight until it comes to sight, kind of thing. But the main character, he's making sure that the male lead knows that if the male lead wants to go around doing a bloodbath, he will be there for him. And I don't know if I'm scared, terrified, or want to cheer him on for this, because at the same time I want to cheer him on, but at the same time I'm absolutely terrified of the main character, because again, I'm rooting the whole revenge on those terrible, vile people, but at the same time, the main character's kind of scaring me. In their whole talk, the main character is drunk. He also wants to kiss the male lead because he's under the influence of alcohol, so he's not thinking straight. And, he has his feelings for the male lead that controls him, and so is his drunkenness controlling him. And he's telling male lead he's sweet, he wants to taste him, and he takes a taste out of the male lead, and the male lead pushes him away. He's like, I'm filthy, I'm nasty, I'm gross. And the main character, like he's done before, tells him, no, you're not filthy, you're not nasty. Just because you had filthy and nasty things done to you does not make you filthy and nasty. And finally, they kiss again, and this time the male lead accepts the kiss, which later the main character feels horrible for because he thinks he's taken advantage of the male lead, which, is true, but at the same time, he was taken advantage of because, again, he is drunk and was under the influence of many emotions. Like, I'm conflicted over their kiss. Like, do I cheer them on for kissing and taking the step forward? But at the same time, I was just like, no, this isn't the right moment to kiss. This isn't the moment to have your emotions and feelings for each other known. Like, just know, like, I was conflicted at this moment. Like, I was happy that they kissed, but at the same time, I was just like, no, 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 no. Like, you guys both have issues and trauma and problems that need to be dealt with before you guys step into a relationship, especially since the male lead, he himself is wanting to stop any romantic relations happening because he doesn't want the main character to be in the same filthy, nasty world he is in, because he thinks he will make the main character filthy and nasty. And also, he knows the main character's convention, and he doesn't want to ruin the main character's convention. He just wants to be in the main character's life. He wants more, he desires more, he wants to get rid of the main character's friend who also desires that with the main character, so he doesn't have competition, anyone to get in between him and the main character. But at the same time, he doesn't want to ruin it. The male lead, when he walked away, he had heard over a conversation about the main character's friend. Supposedly, the main character's friend killed the main character the night the main character took the male lead in, and killed a group of people to keep that story quiet. And the male lead goes, Ooh, interesting facts. I can use this against him and get rid of him from the main character's life. So the temple that the main character had sordid history with was typically sordid history the original host had, but like I said, the main character and the original host are actually the same person. I'm not sure, but anyways, the main character told the male lead and the friend that he had taken care of a half demon child there for 2 years, and he was planning to take this half demon child to a sack leader who was a half demon who took care of half demon children. Now, demons in this world are like the demons from Farin. They're just vicious, ferocious creatures who will scheme and use stuff to kill and harm humans and feast upon humans. And this is exactly what the demons are like in this world. And half demon children will sooner or later become like that. So, most of the time, half demon children are gotten rid of. But the main character didn't want the same fate of this child. He was going to take him to the sack leader who had basically learned how to control himself, and he teaches his students how to control themselves, which that entire sack was destroyed. So the main character was happy he never took that half demon child there, but at the same time, he wasn't able to because the half demon child, after 2 years, left him. And because of his personality, and because he was just starting to heal and take care of people, he did not know how to be a good doctor, a good caretaker. So he's kind of bad at the approach, and he thinks the child despised him, which was not true, because guess what? The child grew up to be his friend. We find out from the main character how he met his friend. He had came to him. He was the first person to talk to him about stuff, know things that he liked, enjoyed his hobbies, they worked together. This was the first person who sought after the main character and stayed with the main character. That's why the main character, no matter what this dude did, stayed with his friend, because his friend was the first person to reach out to him. And he doesn't know that his friend is this half-demon child. But the male lead discovers this. So the male lead goes to the main character's friend after finding out about the main character's friend's true identity. And this dude, he's already losing control over his demon self. He's going berserk. And the male lead, using this to his advantage, wanting this dude to harm and attack him so he can go back to the main character and act like a victim, even though he's purposely setting this dude off. He's saying the worst, most vile things to this dude. He's pulling this dude to confess what he did to the main character, typically did to the original host. So the night the main character had taken over the body and saved the male lead from his doom was the day the friend killed the original host. So basically, he went to the original host, confessed to the original host, was turned down, and he lost control over his demon self. Basically, he's not truly at fault. Yeah, he's at fault, but at the same time, he's not at fault because he lost control at that moment. He lost control over his emotions, and when he woke up, the main character was dead. Now, he is at fault for killing those other people to keep them quiet, but he's also not really fault at killing the original host. He's at fault, but not at fault. It's half-half situation. But yes, the male lead goes to him and is setting this dude off. He is ripping at this dude's every single emotions and feelings until the man loses in control, attacks him, and then runs off somewhere else. And we don't know what happened to him afterwards. So, being the White Lotus he goes to confess everything to the main character about his friend, and the main character isn't upset or angry by this. He's angry over what was done to the male lead, but he's not angry what was done to him. He was actually happy at the time of being killed, but he's not going to have any connections or relationships with his friend anymore. Because again, his friend didn't actually see him as a friend. He saw him as someone to own, to be in a relationship, not actually as an equal, not actually as a friend. So he's not going to have anything to do with this dude anymore. And then he turns to the male lead and goes, "You don't see me as a friend either. You have the same feelings as he does for me, don't you?" And that's where the book ends. And I'm traumatized now. I need to know what happens. I need to know about the snake, because the snake was thrown onto a mountain and we never hear about him anymore. I need to know what happens with the relationship with a friend. I need to know what happens between them, because I need to know.